So, hello everybody. This is just a more or less a quick intro video into the saw. This is my new project saw for the channel. It's a Husqvarna 390 XP. It's actually a XPW variant. It has the full wrap bar, which I love. It has the oversized clutch cover from the factory, and it has the larger dogs. Those dogs I'm not a fan of. I've never been a fan of these style ones from Husqvarna. They do work, but they're not my favorite. I much prefer the Pro Safety style dogs. And this clutch cover is more or less a must-have if you're doing any sort of ripping on wood. It's a wider clutch cover from here to there, which allows for more chip flow and the evacuation of the larger, stringier chips. So, you saw, it's 88 cc's. It's 88 cc's at 6.5 horsepower. It weighs 16 pounds, and overall is a great saw. It's still carbureted. The adjustments are right here. And it's a very nice older style saw. It's basically a big brother to the 372. All the same controls, same chain brake, same design, same everything. And I absolutely love these saws. You can get these low-topped. I'm not a fan of low-topped saws. I know some people, such as Buck and Belly Ray, are. But for me and my needs, I find that the high backs are better, just as it allows me more time between cleaning the filter. So, one of the things I want to talk about is why, in this day and age, I still run these 390s. This is my first personal one, but I've ran many other people's, and I much prefer this over the 500i. The 500i is 85 cc's, it's 14 pounds, and it has 6.7 horsepower. So I hear you guys saying, well, it's a newer, lighter, and more powerful saw. So why run this? One of the reasons I run this is nostalgia. I've grown up on this chassis of saws, the 3 Series Huskies, and while it may be down on horsepower, I do find these have more torque than 500s. And for the larger hardwoods I am usually cutting, I do find the torque does lean into it a bit more. Also, like that's a carbureted saw, meaning I have physical adjustment over it. I know that's just an old guy thing, but I like them more for that. One of the biggest issues with the 500i is the air filter. These 390s, 372s, 394, and 395s, these have the best air filtration system in the world. Which I can show you. What? Pop that, pop that, pop that, and pop that. Yeah, this air filter cover needs to be replaced, but as you can see, screw down rather than quarter turn. And then the filter itself. These filters, in my opinion, are just much higher quality. They don't let nearly as many fines in, and the design mixed with the air injection system is just a better system for air filtration. I've never had issues with fines getting past the air filters on these, the 390s, 372s, 385s, 395s, like I have seen with the steel saws. So there's that. And then we get into the fact that I do not run stock saws. Those numbers I gave are for stock saws. These 390s ported by a good porter, well poured up harder than a 500i. That's the nature of it. These you can do more work to. You're not fighting with the computer. And also it is a larger displacement motor. Even though that's only 4 cc's, it does make a slight difference. These up power-wise come onto the power in a different way than the 500i's. And I prefer how these come onto the power versus the 500i. Yes, these are an older style saw. Yes, they do have their shortcomings. Yes, it's a 3 Series. So these 390s are actually very well known for losing fasteners such as that, the top cover bolt, and just miscellaneous fasteners around it. That is an issue, but if you Loctite them correctly, you'll never have that issue, blue Loctite. And personally, I've never found that to be much of an issue. Compare this to a 661, which is 92 cc's if I remember correctly. And those are 7.5 horsepower, I believe. I'm just trying to remember numbers off the top of my head. Yeah, it's a bigger saw. They are actually a little bit heavier. But one of the big things with the 661s is you don't hear much about it unless you talk to builders and saw porters. They have a lot of fuel injector issues. Not injectors, but solenoids for the M-Tronic. Growing pains, yes, but at the same time, this is a 2013 model. At 2013, this still wasn't a brand new saw. These saws have been on the market for a while. I don't know if they're officially in production currently, but you still can get these new from many different dealers. One of which that comes to mind is Walker Saw Shop up in Canada. They have quite a few last I checked, and yeah, these are great saws. They're cheaper than the 500, and in my opinion, they run better. There's a reason a lot of followers still prefer these. The other big reason, which sadly this is not, it will go right there, but these do come in a heated variety. Heated Full Wrap 390 XPG is basically one of my dream saws. Really hard to find. I believe those are officially out of production, but for now, this I'm happy with. My good friend Cody Rascal sent it to me. We're working out a deal, and yeah, I'm happy with it. These are great saws, and I honestly still prefer them over the 500i's. And when it comes to max bar length, both of them will support a 42-inch bar. Again, this has just a little bit more torque than the 500, so I find that these tend to pull just a little bit better with a 42. But one thing that I can say is, if you watch any of the guys on the West Coast falling cedar, this or the 394 are the two most common saws you see on West Coasters falling big cedar. You go over into redwoods, you see a good mix of these and 500i's. And you go into more of the pine stuff, you see more 500i's. Is one better than the other? It's hard to say. Again, to a lot of people, the 500i is better. But to me, I'm going to stick with my trusty 390. But I should actually get some cutting videos out soon. It's about time to start cutting up all the trees that have fallen in the yard and in the woods throughout the winter. And we got another big storm coming through, so just getting this old girl ready. Gonna be one of the first times I get to truly put it to work. It's a great saw. I'm really happy with it, and I'm glad to have one back in my personal fleet. Haven't run many friends, and haven't gotten rid of one. I did miss having one. These are just great saws all around. One thing that I will say, they do have an updated clutch cover. It's gray, and the Husqvarna, rather than being a sticker, is actually embossed into it. Not a huge difference. I run either of them. As you can see, this has this, and I'm in no rush to replace it. But runs pretty much the same muffler as a 372. You actually can put a 372 muffler on it if you need to replace them. But yeah, these are just great saws. They're legends for a reason, and I'm super happy. One thing that I love about this one, that's a stock saw. Bone stock still has a base gasket, and it has that much compression. So here shortly, I will probably start doing some slight mods to it. Probably gonna do a series of AOs. Here's what muffler mod does. Here's what base gasket delete does. Here's what transfer work does. Here's what intake work does. Here's what exhaust work does. And then finally, here's what finger pouring it did. Just slowly working through the tiers of mods and levels of porting. And each time going slightly more and more aggressive timing numbers. And it should be a good tool to show you guys. It's not the biggest saw, it's not the smallest. This is comparable to an 064 steel. And that will show you what sort of gains you can expect from different mods. This saw does actually have the decompression. And judging by the lack of click, I'm guessing that was probably one of the first times it's been pushed in a long time. You can actually see a ring of crap built up behind it from being run without having it being used. But thank you guys so much for watching. I just hit 2,600 subs, which is incredible. And I've met some really cool people along the way, like Cody Rascal. And that's how I got this saw. And this whole YouTube, Instagram thing, it's still weird. It's still foreign to me, but I've gotten to meet a lot of people, gotten to talk to a lot of people. And yeah, one of the other people I'd like to mention on this video before I leave is Femke on Instagram, or Matt. He is now a Husqvarna team member, and I am extremely proud of him. He's an awesome dude. He's a great guy. He's great to talk to. I've talked to him a bunch, and he is just overall a great guy, along with Cody. They're two amazing followers, and I'm going to link them on Instagram, and through this channel, I've gone to talk to them. Got this saw from Cody, and maybe someday I'll get a saw from Matt. But seriously, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the support. I know it's been rough lately, and I know there hasn't been much saw content, which, now that I've got this, 266, another 266, 254 I gotta do crank seals on, and I got a few more saws coming my way for port work, so should be interesting, and hopefully now that's warming up, I'll get more time in the shop and less time dealing with the storms and issues. But that's just an intro to the Husqvarna 390 XP, XP, XPG, and XPW. These are great saws. If you get a chance to run one, run it. If you get a chance to buy one, buy it. I prefer these over the 500. But thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.